Alright. Let's see who comes on. I don't know how well this stream is going to be. I'll try to get what I can in this one, because I know the next one will be a little bit better. I'll be in a little bit better area. See if anybody comes on. In the meantime, this first location, it's a little misty right now. I'll see what I can to get what I can. Let's just put it that way. Slow connection. Yeah, it's typical in this area. But anyway, if anybody else wants to come on, come on. As you can read in the title, this is the 60th anniversary of the famous but yet forgotten tornado, June 8th, 1966, that ripped through Topeka, Kansas. It created a lot of damage. It was only about maybe 100 yards wide, which is small for an EF5 at the time, but yet the damage that was done, putting it into today's money, we're looking at over. What's up, Chief? We're looking at over at least a good billions of dollars worth of damage in today's money. Back in '66, that would have been like about several hundreds of millions of dollars. There were some deaths, there were some injuries, a lot of people had lost a lot of homes and whatnot. But we'll see. I saw that Chief hopped off. Alright, it's all good. It also created a lot of things about the weather community, the spotter community, the chasing community somewhat. So it was very historic without people actually realizing it. And like I said, it's also a forgotten event. It's nothing like the Moore tornado, Joplin tornado, El Reno. Obviously not El Reno, but it created a lot of things that we still do to this day. It also brought awareness to a lot of things that is still done to this day. So I'll see if anybody else comes on. If not, I'll just continue on. With it being a Monday, I don't expect a lot of people on. But yet, it's also saved. You could also watch it later. But we are where I'm at right now. It took me a while to figure it out. I mean, it took me a while to figure it out. Sorry about that, folks. But I figured it out. I have looked at like many maps to get where I'm at right now. And a lot of the maps that I saw was having to convert maps from 66 60 years later. Some things have changed in the area, some things have not. But I'll give you a setup here. Alright? The setup, June 8th, 1966. You're just outside of Auburn, Kansas. Alright? It was nice and sunny, unlike now. That it was nice and sunny, and nobody really had a care in the world. Kids were out for school. My dad being one of them, although he's from Osage City, which is south of here. My mom, she was from Topeka. All right, I'll get there when I get there. Let's put it that way. All right. I still have an uncle that lives here. I still have family in there. And really the only people that I know besides family is people I work with here. But anyway, I'm getting off the point. It took me a little bit, not a long time, but it took me a little bit to convert maps from 66 to 2006. 2026. Got myself there. To get where I'm at right now. But like I was continuing on, again, kind of going those scroll moments, But anyway, it's June 8th, 1966. The weather is beautiful. Unlike right now. It's a little misty. Got showers in there. But anyway, kids were out of school. And by this time, by the time of this all happened, but during the day, everything was perfect. Kids were out of school for the year. We had a surface low down south coming up north. We had a dry line coming in from the west, and cool air coming from the north. Really priming up the area. Just like back May 18th, what we had out here. Same exact setup, but on June 8th, 1966, it was actually right over Topeka, Kansas, and the surrounding area. I'll get to some of the stories later on, and other lives I'll be doing here in a little bit. But around 6:15-ish, 6:30-ish in the afternoon. Of course, like I said, by this time, kids were off of school, parents were off of work, so they at least ate dinner, before all this happened. And right now I'm trying to get off of this gravel road just to go a little bit up here. Because a little bit up here is where I am looking at, if I could actually look into there, find a spot. I think I might. Yes, I have not. Let's let this person go by. But here we go. Perfect. Oh yeah, this is perfect. I'm going to have to make this quick since I'm on the side of the road. about 6:30, 6:15 in the evening. Okay, as families were done eating, they were enjoying their TV shows, radio shows, you know, whatnot of the time. Little did they know that a tornado had formed. All right, the tornado has formed and is on its way up to Topeka. Topeka is northeast of where I am right now. But little did they know, right here in this field is where the very, very, very first reports of a tornado that touched down happened. And little did they know that it was going to march to the northeast of here, creating, like, making history and creating a whole bunch of firsts that we still do to this day. It all started right there in this field. How do I know? I looked at historical data, obviously. I looked at the damage maps, and all that the NWS had made for that day, on which started that day. That's where it touched down, is inside that field. Now, I am going to go on to the next part. Let's see if I can do this. You guys on? If not, okay, I'm back. I was trying to see if I could put you guys in my cookbook, but it's alright. It's alright. I'm back on. I am back on. But anyway, let's continue on. That is like 8th Street and Crawford Road, or at least 8th Street that I know of in Auburn. Alright, it's 6 miles to the east. Sorry, 6 miles to the west. I'm getting my ass so mixed up. It's 6 miles to the west of Auburn, Kansas. Right now, I am on my way to go back through town to 61st and Auburn Road. So it's going to take us a little bit to get there. It's going to be a long ride, but we'll see how long I can go with this live. But to continue on, my dad being from down south of here, down in Osage City, he said that he remembers seeing it starting down here around Auburn. And he really didn't think much of it until he saw the newsreels and all the media and everything else on what the true impact was. Now, I said that my mom is from Topeka. She was born in Omaha area, but when she was very, very, very young, sorry, when she was very young, they moved to Topeka, Kansas. Like they moved to Topeka here. That's where two of my uncles were born. One of my uncles had said that day, I asked him about it recently, and he said that day, I forgot what the name of the place was, but it was a kind of like a big department store off of 29th and Kansas. he said that him, my grandma, if I remember right, and my great-grandma were on their way back home as it was ripping through town. They didn't even know what the hell was happening, and until they saw the damage and everything else that came with it. All right, and I remember my mom sitting there telling me too that she remembered seeing my grandpa really, really pissed. Well, he wasn't really pissed, but he was pissed. He wasn't pissed off because of the damage. He wasn't pissed off because the tornado missed the house by like maybe 10, 20 yards. No, he was more, from what she told me, he was more pissed off that he had to use the garden hose to spray clothes and whatnot off the side of the house. That was a typical him. Because the tornado went right through downtown. Alright. So that's where and downtown used to have a lot of clothing stores and whatnot. And that's where the clothing that my grandpa had to spray, used the hose to spray off the side of the road, off the side of the house came from. But nonetheless, it's history, and it should be preserved. And I am going to kind of keep politics out of this, but we cannot erase history. History can and will has a good chance of repeating itself. Take it as you will, but history can and will repeat itself if we don't protect it. Alright, I am coming into Auburn, Kansas. Auburn, Kansas is to the southwest of Topeka. It is, I can't say a small farm town, but it's a decently good town. Let me turn it around here. Yeah. We're just coming in off of where we're at, coming in from the west of Auburn. Still in Shawnee County, but you know, I can't say that Auburn is a small farm town, but compared to like Topeka, Lawrence, Manhattan, Linden, well, no, I can't say Linden, but you know, like Lawrence, Manhattan, definitely the KC area. Leavenworth, Lansing area, Wichita. You know, compared to them, this is a small town. But this ain't the smallest. But it's a decently good sized town. It's a farm town. But it's still good. Still a good little place to stay. I live here. Okay, so we're some of Auburn, Kansas. Nice little town. So we're going to continue that track to the northeast. Alright. We're coming up to 77th and Auburn Road. Looking for 61st and Auburn. And then I'll stay on a little bit longer until I get to the next spot. And then I'll come back live again. You're speeding, oh my god! Ah! It's 53 here. I just dropped down a little bit. See? I ain't speeding. But 69th. See, I go speed limit or 5 above. 5 no more. Reason being is because a lot of them, unless you get a rookie or an officer that's having one hell of a bad day, you know, it's a little slap on the wrist in court. Maybe dismissed, probably dropped down to a defective headlight. Ooh. You know. But I'm not telling you to break the law. I'm not telling you not to break the law. But with the whole fucking bullshit going on, which personally I believe is a bunch of childish bullshit, you know, I gotta watch my P's and Q's. Okay, now we'll come up to 61st. Okay, 61st and Auburn Road. It's another area of reported damage, tornado damage. Alright, and also reports of, let's see if I could, no. Oh, yeah, I'll have to come down. I'll have to do this. Okay, let me park here. 61st and Auburn Road. 61st and Auburn Road. As I said, 61st and Auburn Road. Let's get out of here. All right. 61st and Auburn Road. For those who don't know, best thing to do kind of roll down your window halfway. Unless if it's raining real bad or whatever. That way, so in case if your vehicle ever gets the idea to think on its own and lock the door, you can still get in. But anyway, '61st and Auburn Road. This was another area of reported tornado damage, especially down in this area. The first reported deaths of that tornado was right here. There were like two trailer homes here that the tornado hit. nobody really knew that there was a tornado until it was right here, which is sad. But given the time in our history, it's bad. It's sad to hear that it took 2 deaths right here, 2 or 3 deaths, something like that, right here at 61st and Auburn Road to find out about a tornado. But technology at that time wasn't the greatest, not like what we have today. But this is when people really got the idea that, hey, there's a tornado. And of course, people down here in Auburn really couldn't see it, because we're only like about maybe 2 miles, 2-3 miles maybe, guessing, to the north of Auburn. So the people in Auburn kind of knew about it. I believe that they did try to contact people, but the radar wasn't the best. The radar that we got at that time was a surplus from the military, so it wasn't the best, and it couldn't see this far out. And in the course of the day, I will go up here to the NWS office here in Topeka and show you folks the actual radar that picked it up as it and tracked it as it was coming through town. So with that being said, I'll continue on more during the day, because I got other plans. But also stay tuned. I might be live later on tonight. We're looking at storms possibly moving through later on tonight. So they could be strong to the low side severe. Looking at possibly heavy wind, hail, and obviously cannot rule out a couple of spin-ups, or no, a couple of tornadoes. Can't rule those out completely. Because look at Ottawa. We weren't even expecting those storms for Ottawa, but it happened. And then we had that if 2 that came out of Riley, and that one was, nobody even thought of that one. Even myself, I'll admit that. But nonetheless, I'll leave you folks here at 61st and Auburn Road. Until I get on to my journey again here real soon. The next one will be Burnett's Mound. I'll go over the beliefs of that day, like beliefs of Burnett's Mound, which is still actually kind of, there's still some that believe that to this day. But the beliefs of Burnett's Mound, or you know, the myths, or the legend, I should say, of Burnett's Mound in the south part of town. And I will also go over what had happened that day, like happened today, 60 years ago, on that mound. So, like I said, I'll leave you off right here at 61st and Auburn Road. I'll see you guys up on Burnett's Mound.